I saw Labor Day.
And I saw Gary Marshall's
I thought you were going to say
Valentines
Gary
Day.
Busey's. Because it's the only Gary I care about.
And it would just be a full movie of him with oh fuck,
A fire stick.
Jesus.
And he's
I'm a mess.
sodomizing himself.
I'm a mess over here. No,
my
I was
God.
gonna say it with a lighter,
Oh, yeah.
with his hand over the lighter.
Did you guys ever see that like
Heating up the fire stick.
Before he sodomizes himself.
I think it was a
That's the climax.
college humor sketch of
In
Gary
multiple
Busey
ways.
Gary Busey being a sports agent for athletes for fantasy teams.
No, but describe it in full detail.
It does sound
on the other side of the theme.
Are you ready for Movie Versus? Welcome to Movie Versus, the podcast where we pin two terrible movies in an all-out battle for the best of the worst. Here are your hosts, Tyler Lamb, Charlie Pixley, and Steve Channing. All on Movie Versus!
Hey everybody, this is Movie Versus, the podcast in defense of bad movies. I'm Tyler Lamb. I am joined by my co-hosts.
Leonard Little.
My co-host Leonard Little.
Wasn't he the one that
How'd you
killed
get over here so
somebody?
fast?
Oh, I thought you were Leonard Little. Oh man, I need to get my name straight.
Wait! I believe where we're going with this is rampant disregard for traffic laws.
That's Steve Janik. How's it going, Steve?
It's all right, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not Leonard Little, so I'm not. Okay, Leonard Little is the Rams player that killed somebody in a drunk driving accident, correct?
Maybe.
Okay, so pretty good because I'm not a gigantic piece of shit like that person.
Yes.
Quite topical too. Like
Yeah, wasn't it like a decade and a half ago?
Charlie,
Yes.
that's and the co-host with his finger directly on the pulse of all things pop culture.
Of all things, St. Louis, our great football team.
Remember when we had that football team, guys?
Yeah, unfortunately. And that's Charlie Pixley. What's up, Chuck?
Hey.
Are you in the middle? Is that fresh in your mind? Are you in the middle of a Leonard Little biography that you're writing?
It's actually more of like a interpretive painting. But I was just talking. He made me think about like the Gary Busey thing. If that would have been his agent, he was trying to sell him. Like, oh, he's not that bad of a guy. Come on.
Oh, you mean like every agent for like half of the football players?
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. Anyway.
Versus talking about sports.
Yeah, exactly. Movie versus talking about something not movies.
But
who would have thought?
And not only that, I've easily exhausted anything I know about that subject at this point.
And on this episode, Steve, oh shit, I fucking didn't write down any goddamn questions. I'm an idiot. Steve saw a movie.
I did see a movie. It was called Labor Day.
And Charlie, you saw a movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Valentine's Day.
Yep.
In a twist,
and-
I actually watched Valentine's Day, and Charlie watched Labor Day.
Oh, what a twist! Oh man.
Because we all know that I should be the one watching a Gary Marshall romantic comedy movie.
And not me?
Well, I mean,
Because I love them so much.
well, I was gonna say based off all the fanfic that you write.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm the one that reads it.
I have
One.
I have
Steve
notebooks,
doesn't read
just
it.
notebooks full of holiday-themed fanfics involving just 15 to 70 just famous actors.
Oh, well, the one I read was a fanfic about Gary Marshall making Valentine's Day. Like I thought that it was his
you read
inspiration.
that one? That one was personal.
Oh, that's why some of the pages were stuck together and I didn't get the full story. And it was inside of one of those journals underneath your mattress.
Have you seen that
Yeah.
guy's linked DeviantArt account where he draws out all the scenes?
Yeah, I found the URL on this journal.
Which
it was written down HTTP.
which is definitely not one of my aliases.
It's the second time we found that Jeeves Stanek guy doing something.
Yeah, something crazy.
You know what? Say what you will, but I like him.
He's an alright guy, I guess.
He's an artiste.
And so you know what? What's Labor Day about, Steve? In this movie, we see movies that are poorly rated by critics, and we try to make them sound good.
And I don't need to make it sound good this time because Labor Day is about Josh Brolin was an inmate at a prison, and he escapes during surgery at a hospital. He escapes from the hospital, and then while trying to get away from the cops, he ends up kind of abducting a woman and her son, and has them take him to their home where he hides out for several days. He's waiting for the holiday weekend to be over, because once the holiday weekend's over, trains will be running on the tracks that are about 20 minutes from their house.
What time does this take place in?
It's 1987.
Okay.
Takes place on Labor Day, dude.
So basically he's just waiting for the holiday weekend to be done so that the trains will start running again, and he's just gonna go through the woods and just hop onto a train and then get out of town.
Is there a pen over there?
Is there a pen?
I'm sorry to cut you off. I want to write stuff down. Ooh, don't open that drawer. That's just nothing but dildos. So there might be a pen dildo in there that I could use. That's not a pen.
That's a knife. I'm not. See, I have a pencil if you want one.
Oh no, I'm not.
Maybe.
I'm not a plebeian.
I guess I don't. No, wait, no, I do have a pencil.
I thought I had a pen somewhere. Yeah, sure, whatever. Give me the pen. Pencil, I guess. Mechanical. What is this nonsense?
It's halfway between a pencil and a pen. It's a cyborg, really.
Okay, so now start from the top.
Oh, start from the top.
No,
Okay.
I'm kidding. Continue with what you're doing.
What was he in jail for?
He was
Or is
in.
that like a big thing later on?
It's not. So his mom, the kid's mom, has clearly has some anxiety. She doesn't go out that much. When they do go and run errands, most of the time, she sends just her son in to do things like he goes into the bank and does the bank stuff,
Yeah.
which doesn't feel legal to me. But I guess the 80s were real chill about that.
Specifically that.
Yeah, specifically that. But they go out once a month to like get food, like canned goods and stuff, and they just kind of like pretty much camp out in their house because she has like this really bad anxiety thing.
What do they do for money?
I don't know, to be she's divorced, like her husband is married someone else, so I don't know if she's like living off of alimony or something like that.
Gotcha.
But that and then what Josh Brolin's was in jail for are both kind of slowly revealed through the film. Like it's part of this thing where they're slowly trying to make Josh Brolin seem like not that bad of a guy.
Okay.
And as things go on, it becomes more of like, well, what really was he in for, and like all this stuff, because he doesn't seem like a terrible human being or anything. So like, so between what happened to the mother and what happened to him, and like how they're both kind of broken, is like kind of the main plot point of the movie of slowly revealing that, and why these two people kind of feel drawn to each other.
And you said it's just the mom and the kid, right?
Yeah, just the mom and the kid. We do see the dad. The kid's dad has remarried and has another child, and then the woman that he married also has a child. Which her older son, his stepbrother, is the kid from Manchester by the Sea, and and the kid's real father is Clark Gregg, actually.
Oh, okay. You mean the teenage kid in Manchester by the Sea?
Correct.
Yeah, jeez. Can't talk. Okay, so, all right, Charlie. Then what's V-Day about?
So my movie is like a big collage of a bunch of different stories that come together and hit all different aspects of relationships at different stages. As far as there's a group that's like been married for many, many, many years, and then a 2-week-old relationship, and then on and off again relationship, and how all these kind of intertwine around this day, and like half the characters hate the day, which they had more of that than I thought they were going to be. I thought it was going to be like kind of a circle.
How many of them are guys? Like how many of the ones that hate it?
Almost
are just the
none
guys?
of them.
Really, it's all
Actually,
the girls.
I don't think any of them.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow, you
All right.
sexist.
No, I thought it was gonna be like one of
grow
those
up.
like stupid things.
I'm kidding.
You're telling me out of every movie that's ever been released, you don't think that Valentine's Day would be the one to subvert all of tropes?
Hey, it's Valentine's Day, dude, with an
Oh
M.
shit! Wait, is it really?
No.
Okay, I was like, fuck. Well, in that case, then yeah, it's definitely subverting all tropes. Gary Marshall was a genius. God rest his soul.
Yeah. Sorry, I just thought.
But no, that is surprising because it's usually like, I don't want to do this. This is dumb to show my affection.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
and with Topher Grace being like,
Yeah.
but it's not a Thursday. Valentine's Day is always on Thursday.
Immediately afterwards, he's like, I want to make this special. Like, he's
Okay.
like, fuck, I can't believe I forgot this. He's just an idiot
okay.
in the
Yeah.
movie.
Well,
'Cause
clearly,
Yes.
he has a very low IQ.
Well, because
it's
usually,
always right after July 4th.
like usually in the movie, it's like the guys that like legitimately hate it, and then it's the girls that are like, I really hate it, but the only reason I hate it is because I don't have someone to spend it with. And it's like, come on, guys, we can just like think it's dumb, or just like just grow up. Like just because you're not with someone doesn't mean you have to hate Valentine's.
You heard it
Day.
here first, folks. Grow up. Steve Janik.
I think all of our listeners could take that advice. Mostly me when I
Yeah, I
listen
mean,
to
if
it
they're
later.
still listening to this shit.
Yeah. It'll take a long, hard look in the mirror.
Long. Hard look. So,
Yeah.
it's about all those characters and their interactions and just different developments and all their connections to each other start becoming more apparent throughout and all kind of.
As in, like, all
together.
like the stories are all kind of interconnected.
Yeah,
Typical
but not
Gary Marshall fashion.
Yeah, but not
Do
in a
they
way
all
where
go
it's
to
like,
dinner at the same place?
No, it's not something like where it's like, oh, this is the waiter at this bar that then we were all going to dinner here, and then it happened to be renovated by this person, and then we're all here at the same time. No, it's never
okay.
that.
So
Man,
the
I was really expecting it.
So the reason is not interesting, is what you're saying. How many stories are there? Like couples or whatever?
Okay, there's the Bradley Cooper on a plane one. There's the Ashton Kutcher one.
That sounds like a
There's
movie in
the
itself. Bradley Cooper on a plane.
There's the Taylor Swift one. There's
T
let's
Swizzle's
see.
in this bad boy?
There's the Jennifer Garner one. There's the
Just in time.
both
to release her
McDreamy
album.
and McSteamy are in this.
Oh.
So there's the McSteamy one, and there's the old people with the young kid one, and there's the young girl who
McSteamy.
wants to have sex for the first time one.
Okay,
So
so
eight.
that's
Dang.
8.
That is a lot of
Interesting.
threads.
Hey, that's a good sign that I actually remember them though.
Yeah,
No,
that's
that's
Not like,
impressive.
I don't fucking know.
That's
impressive.
practically a Gideon knot, is what that is.
Yeah, that's impressive that you remembered all that. I already forgot it, and you just told me.
There are too many characters in any movie like that to remember all their names, other than
Oh,
just
yeah.
that actor or actress.
Yeah.
That's why they get someone famous for it.
Yeah,
That's why you call them McSteamy and McDreamy.
Yeah.
All right,
That's
so
not the only reason why I call him that.
well, yeah, duh.
One works in a coal plant.
And the other?
And the other, he works in a bird's eye packaging plant
Okay.
Sure.
for the steamable.
Steam was what I was thinking of with like a coal plant. Like that's
Oh.
not steam, but yeah, just like a power plant.
Sorry, I was-
McDreamy is sells date rape drugs.
Oh, I was gonna say he works in a
Dreamsicle factory?
Oh no, that's
a
good though.
dedicated factory
Just for dreamsicles.
Can we change over to another flavor? No.
I was.
Do you think these kids are gonna get their dreamsicles if we stop?
I was gonna say in one of those like sleep, where people like monitor
Sleep
your-
apnea lab, like a sleep.
Yeah, where they're like, come and we'll watch you sleep,
Sleep
and
study.
yeah, there you go, sleep study. Fuck, I couldn't think of the word study. Jeez, and I'm making fun of Topher Grace over here. So Steve, I want to ask real quick, did you watch this movie on Labor Day?
Yeah.
Oh,
Fuck.
huge. How did it?
Yeah, I did.
How did it make you feel? Did you feel like you were really
Belabored. I felt belabored. No. I don't know. It was because there's a lot of just they kind of do these flashbacks of especially Josh Brolin, and then a few of the kid or the mother and her husband, where it's kind of building the like you're getting bits and pieces of why they are the way they are, but you don't have anything concrete for a while.
Okay.
And eventually those flashbacks lengthen into enough information to really paint the picture.
Okay.
And so it's one of those movies where you're really intrigued and you're waiting for that next little bit of information to kind of put the puzzle together.
Okay.
For the true image to be revealed.
And how does that relate to my question?
I forgot what your question was.
It was, how did it make you feel that you watched it on Labor Day?
Oh. Good. No, it serendipitous.
Okay, and those are all the reasons why.
And those are the reasons why.
Because you love watching puzzles come together.
It was like a kaleidoscope that at the end wasn't a kaleidoscope and was a Viewmaster.
Oh man, that's disappointing.
Yeah, what? No.
Dude, I love Viewmasters.
Yeah, they're not as cool as kaleidoscopes.
Are you talking about Viewmasters? Those are the ones with the little click pictures.
Yeah.
So like you go to Pasta House and they give you. Yeah. They're like, here's our menu, but on a fucking Viewmaster.
It's like
what?
You never? Oh, when I was a kid.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. Well, my sister loves Pasta House, so like for her birthday every year
she's
we always.
She's from St. Louis, so
yeah. Is it a St. Louis?
It's
only thing?
big. I don't know if it's St. Louis only, but it's like a big St. Louis.
It's
thing.
this. Yeah. Well, those who don't know, it's just an Italian restaurant. It's just and surprise, surprise, called Pasta House.
It's like it's a mid scale. It's like a mid scale.
And so like once a year we would go for her birthday. And
with all the $5 coupons that everybody has a fucking drawer full of.
Yeah, probably. And yeah, I remember as a kid they had one of those little Viewmasters, and it was just pictures of all the like.
No, see, I had
all the food or what?
Yeah, it was just pictures of food, like spaghetti and meatballs.
I mean, I had Viewmasters of like the Super Mario Brothers Super Show and like Transformers. So imagine like imagine a kaleidoscope. So it's a bunch of cool colors and everything, but then it coalesces into something that is awesome.
A kaleidoscope.
No, a Viewmaster.
Okay, so Charlie, did you watch your movie on Valentine's Day?
Yep. And today,
the first time he did watch it on Valentine's Day.
How did that make you feel? Did it make you feel like you were really a part of the story?
I mean, I was pretty hot and bothered. So yeah.
Yeah, but then what happened? But then what happened when you started watching the movie?
Yeah, I got a little limp.
Okay.
Ooh, not good. Not good.
Well, because I was so taken in by the story.
Mm-hmm. He wasn't paying attention.
The blood had to go back up to my brain in order to get me really focused.
Yeah, and remember that there are 8 stories.
At least.
Or also, he had to remember the Titans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. It is true.
I mean,
he is constantly.
Just think about it. Like you're like, man, I remember that was awesome. Well, also the Titans.
Well, that's why it's always hard for Charlie to get an erection, because so much blood is being used for his brain to remember the Titans. He thought that movie title was a call to action.
Man, those teachers in high school are real assholes for showing me that movie and making me remember it for the rest of my life.
So
I can't have pleasure. None of you kids will watch this movie.
Never forget.
And so you.
Hey, which one? Speaking of which, you know we have a 9/11 movie coming out with Charlie Sheen and Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it blows my mind. Like, there's no way.
What's even better is that because it's like produced from like some Japanese company, the poster was like in Japanese.
Wait, really?
I think so.
And it's about them being stuck on an elevator when it happens. So do they have no idea? And they're just like, "Fuck, we can't get out." Then you just hear like some loud shit. It's like, man, what's going on?
It's gonna be a direct. It's gonna be a direct sequel to that what is that? Devil, the movie in the elevator with like the demon.
I've seen that movie in theaters.
So add that to the list, listeners at home. Movies that Charlie has seen in theaters. Devil.
That's 2.
I feel like there's a very.
Wait, are you counting? Are you pre-counting this 9/11 movie with Charlie Sheen and Whoopi Goldberg as a movie that you're seeing in theaters?
Yeah.
Is it even coming to theaters around here?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't.
It was on the Rotten Tomatoes thing today, as far as like movies coming out.
Yeah, it's just because I know. Well, like. It's coming out like a week after 9/11. Like, it just seems weird that it's coming, because it's coming out like September 20th
I'm
or
sure
something.
It's coincidence.
Which is ridiculous. Like, come on, if you're gonna be clearly making a movie about, like, you might as well just have it like have it released on 9/11 regardless of the day.
I would like to see like some kind of supercut of all 9/11 movies that like shows each story like the continuity of like
Remember Me?
Yeah, that's on the list. That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say including Remember Me, that Robert Pattinson movie where the twist of the fucking movie was that it takes place on 9/11.
So weird.
He goes up to the tower.
I remember you telling me about it.
The final shot of the movie is him looking out the window like a fucking airplane is about to come.
Yeah, and it just like fades to black and you hear like screaming or something probably. I don't know. I've actually never seen it. I just know that like the whole movie happens and then at the very end it just shows a calendar and it says September 11th, 2001. And then he's just at the World Trade Center. My God. What a twist.
It was like some edgelord was like, how do we end this movie? I got it.
Have people talking about it for years, and it worked. Again, another movie that Charlie thought was a call to action. Remember Me.
Speaking of which, what's Alan Jackson up to?
Alan Jackson?
Wasn't Alan Jackson the guy that's like, Where Were You, like the Where Were You song?
Yeah.
I thought that was Alan Jackson.
Alan.
That's what I said.
Alan.
Oh, I thought you said Ellen.
No.
And I was like,
Alan.
what are you talking about? Okay, yeah, I don't know. He's probably living it up as a
Probably
famous country music star or whatever. I think he still tours.
Yeah, like
I think Charlie's parents.
I'm not
saw him
I'm not part of that
recently,
scene, so like I don't know
No.
if he's doing new stuff. Like the last thing I really remember about him is that song, so I wasn't sure.
Charlie, you're supposed to
still-
yes and everything.
Yes.
If you-
And what's my question?
Yeah, back to track.
I guess you did ask me if I watched it on Valentine's
Yeah,
Day.
I did. But no, I want to know some more about. Tell me. You don't have to talk about all of them right now, but just tell me some of these stories that were
Alright,
going
I'm
on.
gonna go through all of them.
Oh, okay.
Bradley
Strap
Cooper
in.
is a man
On a plane. Moving on.
Yes. And Julia Roberts is in full military fatigues, and she's right next to him, and they're chatting about their relationships and blah, 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 and how she is coming back from a tour of duty just for a day. Like, she got a special release to come back for a day and then go back out. And, Julia
he's
Roberts
like, well, you
really
wanna
looks
be
like a,
Combat ready.
Yeah, a battle-tested veteran.
And he's like, you want to join the Mile High Club? And they're like, Happy Valentine's Day or something. Thank you. Let me thank you for your service.
Okay. And McSteamy is a football player who he's got all the fame and all the wealth, but he doesn't have love. And he's kind of an older one. He's still good, but it's kind of like a Brett Favre situation where it's like you should probably just retire.
Kind of on the way out.
You could still play, and you're good, and people like you.
And
so
McSteamy's the guy that was in Superbad, right?
No. I don't know. Either one of them wasn't Superbad.
Oh, McLovin. Ha ha ha. Tyler's hilarious.
Oh, that was a joke?
And everybody gets Tyler's joke and thinks that it's funny.
Oh, Christ.
Okay.
Fade to black.
Anne Hathaway.
On your life.
Anne Hathaway. Oh, shit. Anne Hathaway is a phone sex operator that is
oh, God.
dating Topher Grace for 2
Yeah, and who does
weeks.
she play in the movie?
Someone dating
Selena
Topher
Kyle.
Grace.
Okay.
Taylor Swift is a stupid high schooler that is dating Taylor Lautner, who is another stupid high schooler. Jamie Foxx is in it, too. He's got his own story. He
also dating a high schooler?
No. We're talking about the movie. He's trying to become the #1 sports broadcaster in L.A. currently. He's numero dos.
Ooh.
And he's trying to find the hot story with the QB as far as, like, what are you going to do? Are you going to retire? Are you going to enter free agency? That kind of thing. And that could be, like, his big story
With
to break.
QB?
No, QB, like the
quarterback,
McSteamy.
my bad.
Oh, okay.
God, even I got that
cutie
one.
QB.
I was like, what the fuck? Okay.
Yeah, and then he writes that article to get the cutie QB a date for Valentine's Day.
So Ashton Kutcher is a guy who proposes at the beginning of the movie to, what's her name? Jessica Alba. And she says yes, and he's all excited, and he tells his good friend Jennifer Garner. And that spins off to that story. Jennifer Garner is
In love with
no,
Ashton Kutcher?
Nope. She's
Damn
the
it.
girlfriend of McDreamy, and McDreamy's a doctor that like travels around the country and stuff. But we learned that McDreamy actually has a wife too.
Oh.
And Ashton Kutcher is a florist, and McDreamy comes in and is like, "I need to buy 24 roses. And he's like, okay, where do you want it sent to? He's like, I actually need it sent 2 different places.
Oh.
He's like, okay.
And then
like,
one of them is his friend.
Yes, exactly. One of them's an agreement. He's like, this is like an understanding, right? This is a business. Like, don't judge me, but fucking just do the shit that I'm paying you to do. It's like, okay. So
I mean, that's a thing, though. Like, especially with florists, they have to be pretty discreet about it.
Yeah.
I know every florist I've ever been to has had a disclaimer that says, "We will not fuck up your side piece."
Yes.
Yeah, it's a sign on the front door.
A sign on the front door.
Right,
it's like right next to the no guns one.
No, it's right. It's right next to the doggy.
Yes.
Oh, hi, doggy.
Thank God.
What else? So Emma Roberts' character is in high school, and she just wants to fuck for the first time. She's trying to plan it out, and her boyfriend does as well, obviously. The old people, they're like the experienced marriage couple, and they're telling Emma Roberts, their grandkid, all about, like, hey, you don't have to necessarily plan this. You'd rather it kind of just come about naturally. Don't be like, hey, at 8:30 on this day, we're doing this, blah, blah, blah. And Emma Roberts is like, oh, well, it's not like I'm only going to ever have sex with one person. And the grandfather's like, well, that's what we did, and it worked out pretty well for us. And the grandmother starts, like, crying.
Because she didn't do that?
Correct. There's lots of stories in here that aren't just, like, completely sappy, where it's like, then he says something like, she's like, I just wanted to tell you the truth. And he goes, yeah, but that one truth makes the rest of it all seem like lies, and just storms out on her. So there's that story.
Well, how old were they when they got together? Was it like
high school?
Is the old man played by Fred Willard?
No.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
Taylor Swift is played by Fred Willard.
That would make this new song so much better.
And, it would. And George Lopez is in it as Ashton Kutcher's work buddy, who has, ironically enough, the perfect relationship out of all of them.
Is Luis Guzman in it?
Oh my God, please.
He plays the little kid story I was talking about earlier. He plays one of those beanie hats with a propeller on top.
He plays
with like one of those oversized lollipops.
He plays Taylor Lautner's character.
Yeah. He does take his shirt off a lot. No, I don't think he does once in the movie. And they mention it. She's like, take your shirt off. He goes, nah, I'm not really comfortable doing that, which I thought was kind of funny.
-1 for Valentine's Day. No shirtless Taylor Lautner.
Yeah, I didn't say pants.
But then they were self-aware about why they were doing it.
Yeah, fair
which
enough,
is
I guess.
1+1 for Steve.
So, and the kid has a Valentine in his class, and then it ends up being Jennifer Garner. And
Aww.
So that's, remember, the second movie now, where she is talking about being with children.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah. What was the other one? Oh, 9 Lives?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Do we have... Is there an exhausting scene in which children give out really crappy Valentine's Day cards to every single one of their classmates, and we get to read all of the awesome puns that children's Valentine's Day cards include?
Nope, there is not.
How long do you think that scene would be, Steve? Are you wanting 15 minutes of...
I want that to be a majority of the movie.
Kids just reading.
Just one kid sitting on the floor, just and just over his shoulder looking at all of them.
What would it say?
I don't know.
You gotta
think that far ahead.
Oh man, I was hoping for at least one.
Choose you.
Just phoning it in, Charlie. Just phoning it in.
What's that Simpsons one?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. You're just phoning it in.
Yeah. Well, if it were me, I would just be like, "You want some fuck BB-8?" and it'd be the Star Wars tie-in.
It'd be like one of those heart chalks or whatever, but in the shape of BB-8.
Sure.
Okay.
I was thinking just one of those fold in half Valentines.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Steve, Charlie got a chance to exhaust most of his movie's story. So did you say earlier why Josh Brolin was arrested?
No, but we can go into that and why. I think it's Kate Winslet. Kate Winslet. Why he was in jail and why Kate Winslet has anxiety. If you would like to do that.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so this would be the spoiler if anybody has like a real hankering to watch Labor Day fresh. So I would skip for at least 40 minutes. I'm joking. I don't know how long it'll be.
God.
No, so
just beat by beat recap of the whole movie starting now.
so when they first run into Josh Brolin, he's bleeding from kind of like his stomach area, and he has him take him home to like hide out, and they're at their place for a while, like I said. And the kid's like, so how did you hurt your leg? Because Josh Brolin's been limping the entire time, and he's like, well, kid, I'm not gonna lie to you. While I was in jail, I had appendicitis, and they took me to the hospital to get that taken care of. And I jumped out of the second-story window to get away from him. And like, how did you manage that? Like, how did you escape? And he was like, I told the guard that was watching me, if he leaves this room, I'm jumping out the window. And when he heard that, the guard just went outside for a smoke, laughing. He's like, because let me tell you, kid, nothing makes people not believe you like telling them the truth. Which comes up
deep.
Which comes up later. It comes up later. But we find out, like, so at this point we still don't really know, but as we find out through the movie, we see a lot of flashbacks to young Josh Brolin, and you know, he's a young man working and just trying to be a good person, and he gets together with this girl. They have a kid together, and you kind of get these bits and pieces of like the good parts, and you're like, man, well, like, where does this all go wrong? And what ends up happening is when they have their kid, like, his wife's like gone more and more. He goes to, like, there's one scene where he goes to a bowling alley and he's like, hey, where's the women's league? And the guy's like, women's league's on Tuesdays. And so he ends up finding her like out on a date with one of her friends and like another guy. And then like it's a double date. So her and her friend with a guy and then like another guy. And then he ends up talking, like at some point he talks to her and he's like, is the kid even mine? Like, you're just out all the time. Like, is this kid mine? And she just is like, you're such an idiot. Like, you're just like a big rube. And like, so he shoves her.
Jesus.
A Rube Goldberg.
Not even answering either, just saying you're an idiot.
Like but I believe the actual line is you're a fool. And that's like the like where she leaves it. And he shoves her and she hits her head on a radiator and dies. And then at the same time, at the same time, like water, like he sees water dripping from like a point on the ceiling, and he's like,
I gotta fix that.
No, he's like, fuck, and he runs upstairs, and the tub is overflowing, and his kid is dead. Like I guess he just like he got into a fight with his wife and left his kid in the tub with the water running.
Oh, was it like a little baby or something?
Yeah, it was a baby.
Oh, okay.
And so he's in jail for murder because he killed his wife and also his baby,
like
but
child
like
neglect and
so like it was just like a really shitty situation for him. And that ends up being like what happened, and then as far as Kate Winslet, she after her son was born, they kept getting pregnant, and she just kept having miscarriages, and so she was like it was like 4 miscarriages in a row, and then she's pretty much to term. Like she goes into contractions, like she just figured she was gonna miscarry again, and she starts having contractions and they go to the hospital, and then the baby's stillborn. So like she just has this like big anxiety of her, like basically her body like betraying her and like wanting to have another kid and not being able to, and just like she just can't stand to be out like seeing mothers and things like that. It just like really throws her off. And so those are like the 2 big reasons of what's going on. And as the movie's going on, like pretty much as soon as he gets to the house, Josh Brolin, despite, I guess, being a criminal, like, he's clearly a criminal, and they know him for that.
Starts
like he's
fucking the wife?
Not immediately.
Okay.
Immediately.
No, but, like, he just kind of starts helping out around the house. Like, he like, as soon as he gets there, he, like, ties her up, because he's like, listen, I gotta tie you, he's like, I gotta tie you up, because if, like, the cops show up, like, we have to make it reasonable of like why, you know, like you can't look like you're helping me in any way. Like this is it's clearly like if I have you tied up and the kid's not tied up, like no one's gonna be like, oh, the kid's just doing what he says because he's afraid his mom's gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So he ends up making food for him, and then he just fixes the house. Like he replaces like a loose board in the stairs. He like changes the oil in the car and like fixes a bunch of. He just starts handymanning the house up. Like here, I like kind of like I guess I'll help you guys out for you helping me out. Like I'm not a complete piece of shit. Yeah. I appreciate you letting me lay low here for a bit, so I'll give you a little bit little bit of assistance that I can, sort of thing. And then like as that goes on, eventually the mother, Kate Winslet, finds out exactly what happened, and she doesn't really blame him like a lot of other people would. Like she understands that it was a series of unfortunate events, and so she was like, "Oh my God, Jim Carrey and/or
I was gonna make a Neil Patrick Harris reference, yeah.
I can't stay mad at them."
Okay. Oh, is that?
I mean, that's like the big part for
when
like,
does he get the Infinity Gauntlet?
Oh, so at one point, the neighbor, she has to go to the hospital to see her dad, and she drops off her son, who is wheelchair bound. I'm not sure.
And he's actually a Infinity Stone.
No, he has the Infinity. His wheelchair is the Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh shit! It's the Mobius chair.
Yeah, but they spend the day with him, and Josh Brolin just like doesn't hide from him because he's I don't know if he's I guess the proper term. I believe the proper term is special needs. I'm not sure if anybody out there.
You inconsiderate.
but he's wheelchair bound, and they spend the day with him, and like he teaches the main son Henry. He teaches him how to play baseball, and like they just kind of hang out with this kid. And when the mom comes to pick the kid up, and like later that night, they're watching TV, and he goes and hides so that the mom doesn't see him. But they're watching TV, and like the coverage comes up of, the fugitive, and the kid starts freaking out. But he's not real vocal.
The movie?
What?
Jesus.
Or the TV show?
What?
You said the cover comes up for the fugitive.
The coverage. Of like him being a fugitive,
Tyler's fucking with you right there.
Yeah. No, I thought you said the cover. Shit. So I mean, I was part fucking with you, but I was also like, "What the fuck is he talking about?" The cover.
No.
The fugitive comes up.
Like the police band.
My God,
of
it was the one-armed man.
So the kid isn't real verbal, and so he starts freaking out. He's like trying to say Frank, because that's Josh Brolin's character, and he's trying to say Frank, and like as he's yelling, the mom's like, hold on. Well, she's like, hold on. I'm having Henry get me a glass of water. I need a drink of water, and then we can go home. And the kid's still freaking out, and she's like, you need to chill out. I just want a glass of water, and then we can go home. And the kid's still trying to tell his mom that a murderer is in the house, and she just slaps him.
Holy shit.
I was like, wow, this is a 12-year-old boy in a wheelchair, and you just hauled off. And
that doesn't mean he still can't learn his place.
But it was just super uncomfortable. It was like,
yeah, that's crazy.
She shouldn't have stooped down to this level.
I know. I was like, wow, 80s, a little.
This movie. Oh no, go ahead.
I don't remember if it's this movie, and it's not American Pie. Don't get it
Somebody
twisted.
fucked a pie.
No, but I think for this movie, is there a very sensual scene where they make apple pie though? In this movie,
they make peach pie,
okay,
and yes,
that's
it is. Well, it's weird because it's
I know I'm hurting my case, but
it wasn't cherry pie.
No, it was peach.
Oh yeah, she's got
because Josh Brolin could eat a peach all day.
Oh, this is that movie where he says that?
No. The peach all day. That's Face Off.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Or I could eat a peach for hours. I could eat a peach for hours. I'm sorry.
I don't know. The only line I know from Face Off is take his face
off. No, they do a scene where they like make a pie, and there is some sensuality to it.
How so? Please, in vivid detail.
Could you actually? You got that pencil in front of you and that paper. Could you draw
a
it
diagram?
Out
I couldn't draw because I'm a terrible artiste. But they do. They're making. They cut up the peaches. They make the stuff.
Does he ghost her when he is putting the pie crust
on?
He
ghosts her when she puts it like the top crust on.
Gotcha.
And there's a part where they're kneading out the crust. So like they do some rolling pin work, and then he kind of finishes it off with the heel of his hand, and he's like, all these people want their fancy.
And then he finishes making the pie.
And then he uses his hand. No. He's like, a lot of people have their fancy kitchen gadgets, but sometimes the best thing the best tool you have is attached to your own arm. And he's kind of leading her around the thing. Like Definitely ghosted her.
Sometimes the best tool you have is your mouth and tongue.
Subtlety goes out the window.
And then he just picks up the rolling pin and puts it in his mouth.
Tyler, I thought one of the stipulations was you haven't seen this movie.
Oh, man. Well, I am thoroughly aroused.
And then Warrant's song kicks in.
Tyler, is that a rolling pin in your pocket, or are you just happy to hear about this film?
Both.
Oh, it's a rolling pin. Oh, you have a rolling pin.
What is he wearing? Jinkos?
They're coming back. They're coming back.
Thanks to me. Man. Up until that sex scene, this movie sounded like a real bore.
I know, I hurt myself with that, but I felt like it needed to be addressed.
There's some more sexy things that occur, but I feel like Charlie should get
on or off screen.
I mean, am I considered off screen?
Yes.
Then off screen. No, it is off screen.
Okay. Charlie, is there anything you want to talk about with your movie? I don't really have any more like questions specifically tailored for the movies. As you know, stated before, I came really
specifically Taylor Swifted or Taylor Lautner.
One of the scenes that made me laugh out loud.
It was specifically Taylor Kitchener.
I rolled on the floor and I laughed my ass off.
Oh wow!
Wow,
that explains a lot.
Dude, that Taylor's not even in this movie.
Yeah, I know.
Taylors are in this movie.
It still sounded good.
So
we should create a movie with all the Taylors.
So the little boy is riding with his grandpa in the
Taylor
car.
time.
They're driving. He's talking about like he has a crush on this girl, and he's just asking his grandpa about him. So they're having this like heartfelt conversation. And then they get up to this street, and the boy goes, "Look, Grandpa, it's Moorpark. You turn here," spelled Moorpark. And he just goes, "Hey, Bob," or whatever his name is. I don't remember. He's like, "Hey, kid, you know what Moorpark spells backwards?" He goes, "No, Grandpa, what?" He goes, "Crap room." And they just keep driving. And the kid goes, like he's like offended by it. And he goes, "Don't tell that one at school." And then cut to a different story. I laughed.
Cut to them at school. Cut to them at school,
no,
and
totally,
him saying that.
Totally different story. I thought that shit was so funny for some reason. Because that sounds like a stupid fucking joke that I'd make or somebody else would be like, "Hey, that's crap room backwards."
Are you sure you didn't accidentally watch another vignette movie, including many famous actors, called A Movie 43?
It's impossible to tell.
There was a man with testicles on his face.
Also impossible to tell.
Yeah.
There was a scene. This felt so unnecessary, but in the movie, they're getting a shot of the flower shop, and two little people come out. And, okay, that's fine, everything. But they gave them, like, the biggest flower arrangements ever. That it was, like, clearly done to draw your eyes. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? It's like, hey, those are
look at how silly these people are carrying something so big.
That's real. I mean, no other specific questions about,
No, I kind of... I thought of one and then I forgot it.
Great.
I remember. I'm going to ask both you guys this now. So, Charlie, if you were to replace one of the actors in one of the scenes of this movie...
One actor in one scene, okay.
...with Nicolas Cage, just describe the scene to me. I want to know what the... You know what does that make sense? Yeah. And Steve, that question will go to you as well. I think yours is already pretty easy to answer.
Mine's hella easy.
Okay, let's you just want it to be the pie scene.
All right, so the little kid has a crush on his teacher, who's Jennifer Garner. He brings her...
But now Nicolas Cage.
No. Hold on.
Okay.
He brings her the Valentine. She's like, "Hey, you're too young, blah, blah, blah." That whole thing. She's like, "But I know this other little girl that she likes." She's like, "She likes you." And he's like, "I like her too. I'm going to make her my Valentine." So then he goes up to her and is like, "Hey, do you want to be my Valentine? All this stuff. I like you a whole lot. I think you're great." And he gives her the Valentine. She's like, I love it. Yeah, I'll be your Valentine. So I'd replace the kid with the boy with.
Oh, see, I thought you were. I would have replaced the girl that he goes to.
I thought.
I wanted to be way creepy.
I thought you were gonna say the girl, and that he was gonna give the girl a like a bag with some Valentine stuff in it, and the girl would turn around and respond, "What's in the bag? What's in the bag?"
But can you imagine then a scene where Nicolas Cage, a fully grown man,
is sitting at one of those tiny chairs? Oh man,
no, like
goes up to a 9-year-old girl like, "Hey, I like you a lot. I want you to be my Valentine."
Could you be?
See, I'm imagining it from the other way, like Jennifer Garner says all this, and like you don't see the picture of the girl, and like this kid walks up and he's like, you still don't see the girl yet, just a shot of this kid. And he's like, I really like you, would you like to be my Valentine? And then just cut to Nicolas Cage.
He's like, oh.
I didn't include it only because they were separate scenes. There was like a break in between.
Oh, okay.
So, but otherwise, yeah, that'd be good too.
Steve, what about you? If you had to see scene with Nicolas Cage, just replace it for that one scene, an actor or actress.
Honestly, okay, so during the course of, I think it's Sunday night, every Sunday night,
mom slapping the
during
kid in the
intercourse.
No, so on every Sunday he goes to dinner with Clark Gregg and his new family.
Any given Sunday,
that happens.
Tahiti, dude.
Yeah. So they're at this place and they're getting dinner, and Clark Gregg brings up like it's about time for the sex talk, and the kid from Manchester by the Sea, he gets all snippy, and he is who I would replace Nicolas Cage with.
Okay.
So he's like, I already had that talk with my stepdad, or with my real dad. And he's like, okay, well, I guess that makes me and you. Son, and he's like, oh yeah, I talked about it with mom. He's like, some things we have to do it. And the kid's like, well, I was thinking I might. He's like, Clark Gregg says, you think you're gonna play some football this year? Because whatever the other kid's name is gonna go out for lacrosse. And he's like, actually, I was thinking more about doing the dance program or whatever. And he's, and it's the 80s, so both his stepmom and his dad are like, are you sure you really want to do that? And he's like, yeah, why wouldn't I want to do that? And then his stepbrother is like, because everyone thinks you're a gay.
That A sure makes it a whole lot
no.
It really does.
Yeah. So the A is the reason, and that's a big part of why I just want to hear Nicolas Cage say, everyone will think you're a gay.
I'm pretty sure you could find audio of him saying that at some point already.
Do you think that people laughed at that in the theater? Like, well, first off, do you think people
None
saw
of us
that?
Saw it, so.
Do you think that anybody saw that in theaters?
I don't know. Like, it wasn't like a real funny scene. It was, it was reminiscent of like, those 80s movies that, those scenes that don't wear real well, where it's kind of just like a sign of the times on how they're talking about certain things, especially homosexuality.
It was just, for some reason, it reminded me of in Spider-Man Homecoming when Flash Thompson calls him Penis Parker, and I laughed quite heartily at that. And I don't know if anybody really thought that was funny, but I was like, oh man.
That makes me think in my movie, just how like you were saying in the 80s, or how certain scenes don't like
hold up well anymore.
Well, this one, I think this movie came out in 2009, 2008. 2009.
Oh, that old? Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And
something like that, yeah.
Okay.
And there's the
actually, I want to say it might have been like, wait, your movie or my movie?
My movie.
Okay.
McSteamy, the football player, has a press conference, and he's holding this press conference. He's like, I know a lot of you have been wondering what I'm going to do, so I just held this press conference today to say I'm gay. And then the first question by a reporter is, yeah, but what are you going to do about your football career? Like, I don't give a shit. Like
it's ruined because is that what you're saying?
No, he's holding the press conference. Everybody thinks to say whether he's going to retire, enter free agency, and people are like,
we don't care.
Okay, but then the part that I was just doing that for the setup. Then Jamie Foxx afterwards was like doing his broadcast on TV, and just that they would even do a joke like this. Now, I mean, it's a stupid joke. I don't care. It doesn't bother me, but I couldn't see them writing the same joke today. He goes like, let's just say his name's. We'll just keep using McSteamy. It's like, McSteamy.
That's all I call him.
McSteamy, you do your thing, and I stand behind you. Well, metaphorically.
Jesus.
I think that's not even a good joke.
I know. Because if you were standing behind him, clearly he would be having butt sex.
Like it's one of those. I'm like offended at calling that a joke.
Yeah.
Like not that he said it. It's like Jesus, dude.
No, but that whole scene I was going through, it was just like Nicolas Cage would have been like just a real like bratty stepson type character, and I think it would have been hilarious.
Do you think, going back to the Jamie Foxx things, Charlie? Do you think that Jamie Foxx wrote that in? On set, he was like, "No, if I'm saying something like that, I gotta clarify that I actually ain't
my
really
fans. My fans
really
need to know.
Yeah, I ain't down with that."
The fans have to know that Jamie Foxx is still for the ladies.
That's why there's 3 X's. I mean, that's how he spells his name, isn't it?
I thought it was 2.
Yeah, it is 2.
Oh, well then, never mind.
I'm sure there's a Jamie Foxx that also stars in movies with 3 X's in his name.
What would make you think
or
that?
her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
I guess so. Yeah.
I guess, yeah, we can't be gender exclusive.
True.
Well, I mean, Jamie is one
Yeah.
of those names that's both male and female pretty regularly.
Yeah,
I know.
Like Veronica.
Yeah.
So
You got any goofy questions for us?
no, that was my goofy question, I guess.
Oh, it was goofy.
No, that's a pretty standard. That's how I pretty much evaluate all films.
Yeah, I didn't have, and I didn't think of some totally unrelated question to ask beforehand. So, yeah, no, that's very, very exciting episode. You know,
Hey, remember,
so you guys,
crap room
yeah, and also the Titans.
and me.
So what do you guys have left that you want to bring up? Let's just go ahead and do that. Final stuff.
So this movie kind of takes a turn. They do fall in love, and they're actually going to run away to Canada. Like, the mother is going to take her son, and they're going to run away to Canada to escape the law and be with Josh Brolin. Because they don't check passports on the way to Canada. There's like several things that help them get away from the cops.
It's
in this
the
situation.
80s, dude.
Yeah, the 80s, and just fast and loose.
Passports didn't even exist in the 80s. You could just
Shit, Canada didn't.
yeah, it was just open land.
But
Actually, there was nothing attached to the north of America.
yeah, before that we had some extra continental drift that tagged us to Canada somewhere around 1992.
It's a lot of Mother Nature.
Yeah, Jesus. Like, and people say global warming isn't real.
So
I don't know how that
anyway,
relates.
they're gonna run. The son and the mother, they go and clear out their accounts, and it raises some eyebrows. They're like, I don't know if we should. Is everything okay? Why are you taking all your money out? And the kid does the tell them the truth and they'll leave you alone. And he's like, no, we got all of our stuff in the car and we're about to run to the border, like escape to Canada, like Bonnie and Clyde. They're like, that's crazy. We'll get your money. So they're basically compiling all their stuff, and at that point the neighbor comes back over and sees Josh Brolin in the house, like fixing everything up. And
she gets turned on,
and she plays it cool, and also at some point the son goes to drop a letter off at his dad's house, like hey dad, don't worry about me, I'm all right sort of thing. And on the way home he gets picked up by a sheriff played by James Van Der Beek.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good beak.
And he drops him off at home and asks some questions and things like that. So they find out the neighbor ends up calling the cops, and that the cops are coming to get him. And at that point, Josh Brolin like ties her up and tapes the kid to the chair so that like it can be obvious that they weren't party to this. And what ends up happening is the son, he ends up moving in with his dad for a while, and he goes back to his mom's for his senior year in high school. He was in 7th grade and during the things that play out. And then he's at his dad's until his senior year in high school, and he goes back home to stay with his mom for his last year in town, really. And when he's staying with her, he ends up baking again. Like, he makes that pie, and then it kind of like sparks a love of baking in him, and he ends up becoming like a famous baker. and he also grows up to be Tobey Maguire.
Oh,
yeah. I was surprised. I was like, Tobey Maguire, what are you doing here? But his mom his mom like wrote Frank, and she never got a reply, and she tried to talk to him a couple times, but he was in like solitary, and they wouldn't let her see him. Mm-hmm. So they kind of lose contact. But when the boy Henry becomes famous for making pies, he gets in this magazine, and Frank sees sees his picture in this magazine and writes him and is like, hey, listen, I'm about to get out. I've spent my time in here. Like, I'm finally getting out. Would it be okay for me to write your mother and talk to her? And he's like, yeah, sure, sure. Go ahead and do it. She's in the same spot. And he's like, because he says, I'm asking you because I don't want to do anything that'll upset her or anything. Like, if you think I should just leave her alone, I'll trust you. Like, I will never bother her again. Yeah. But I do still care about her.
He's known for following the laws and rules and people's requests.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the kid ends up telling him that it's okay, calls mom. And when he gets out of jail, they kind of get back together, and they spend the rest of their days together making sexy pies.
Sexy pies. Meat pies.
Well, there's protein.
The meatiest of pies. All right. Is there anything else you wanted to bring up or mention?
That's pretty much most of them. I think I talked a lot about this movie so far.
Yeah, you have. But then again, Charlie talked a lot he told all his stories and his.
There were many.
Movie. So Charlie, is there anything else that you want to bring up?
No.
Okay. Well, in that case,
other than just, I was surprised at how many unhappy endings they had in it.
Yeah.
Or at least negative events. Like Ashton Kutcher, the girl he proposes to at the beginning of the movie, instantly afterwards, like later that day, is like, yeah, well,
she dies.
No.
She just backs out.
Up. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Interesting.
And then the woman having cheated on her husband decades ago, and just now, and the guy's even like, why the fuck did you even tell me?
Did she cheat on her? Did she cheat on him, or did she just get together with someone before that they were married?
No, cheated on him while he was away for business. Yeah.
That's wow. Why would she?
With his business partner.
Oh,
sure.
Jesus Christ!
The hits keep on coming.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right, so I guess I am now poised with making a decision.
You indeed
poised.
Are. Poised.
Yeah. And I will say that, Steve, Labor Day sounds insanely boring. And
damn it.
And Charlie, Valentine's Day. I had to see Mother's Day already, and so I pretty much know exactly how this movie plays out.
At least a few chuckles.
And so
like crap, bro. I genuinely did laugh at that.
No, I'm gonna have to go with Labor Day because.
Oh my god!
No,
I thought I was dead in the water.
No,
this is a fucking movie.
Yeah. I mean, after seeing Mother's Day, I would not want to watch another one of those. So I would have to subject myself to
Labor Day.
Labor Day, which Steve.
Woo.
Should have been.
We'll ask you what your real thoughts are soon.
Valentine's Day versus New Year's Eve. Then
I thought. Yeah, exactly. Two similar movies. So Charlie, what did you really think about Valentine's Day?
Same thing as you thought about Mother's Day. It's just a piece of shit.
You actually accidentally texted in the group chat. What was it? You said, "I'm almost done with this shitty movie."
Oh, did you really?
Did you not like?
No, I was in the middle of something.
Yeah, he said, "I'm almost done with this shitty movie," and then I can come over or whatever. And then one after that, you went, "Oh fuck!" I just realized what I said.
I didn't connect what was happening because I was in the middle of something at the time.
I mean, I chuckled at a couple things, but it was just bad. It's just stupid. The people are too famous. I mean, it was so heavy-handed. There's a scene where, okay, so Patrick Dempsey, who's the cheating doctor, he is a heart surgeon. So of course
I wish I knew more about Grey's Anatomy to be like, oh, this again.
So So, are you hearing me, Tyler?
Yeah, I'm listening.
So he's like, I'm a heart surgeon. Throughout the movie, they're like, oh, all you do is mend hearts. You mend hearts. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Turns out he's a proctologist.
And he's juggling. He's juggling all the time, like juggling apples and stuff. And then he's with his wife after he just like got done fucking Jennifer Garner. She's like, you're so good at juggling. And he like looks down, kind of like all sullen. It's like, man, you couldn't be any more heavy-handed with this.
That is
you're so
ridiculous.
good at juggling.
And I'm guessing all the hearts that he fixes are all like shaped like hearts or whatever. They're not.
And he opens them up, and it's just a heart-shaped heart, just beaten away.
Is that
It just fucking sucks. I mean,
yeah,
it's so just like nothing, and everybody in it. I mean, the people are doing the best they can. Other than even Topher Grace actually is better. That one line is terrible, but he's one of the better ones.
I like Topher Grace.
No, but that thing where he's like,
he's Eddie Brock.
Yeah, but even like you said, the thing where it's like, I thought it was always each Thursday. He really is like out of it in that line. There are just too many famous people in it, really, where it seems everything seems so fake.
Well,
like,
and
you have
is
Patrick
it like
Dempsey talking to Jennifer Garner about Ashton Kutcher and blah blah blah?
Yeah.
It's like, fuck.
Well, like maybe like pick one or two things, like one or two plot lines, and develop them.
I guess.
Like just do something.
Oh, and Kathy Bates is in this movie?
Yeah, she plays a TV producer or something like that.
Gotcha. Okay, so this is at an 18% on Rotten Tomatoes. Critics average rating 3.8 out of 10. 185 reviews. That leaves 33 fresh, 152 rotten. The consensus is eager to please. Eager to please and stuffed with stars, Valentine's Day squanders its promise with a frantic episodic plot and an abundance of rom-com cliches.
Yes.
And then, as far as reviews go, we have the film may be set in L.A., but no scene lasts longer than a New York minute.
Oh, hot takes over here.
Charmingly cast and phenomenally so-so.
Oh, so Anne Hathaway and Topher Grace had been dating for 2 weeks at this point, which doesn't even mean 14 dates. That means what, like maybe 3 or something? And he finds out that she's a phone sex operator, and he goes, why didn't you tell me this? How could you not have told me this? It's like you probably don't even know each other's last fucking names yet.
That's a bit of an over. It's not like she's a prostitute. She's just like,
yeah, I mean,
yeah, baby, what's up?
That I'd want to have a conversation about, but it's also like, I don't know.
Well,
I want to react so strongly.
I want to have a conversation. I want to have a conversation with Steve about his terrible phone sex etiquette. Hey, baby, what's up?
Is that not how it works?
Yeah, they just repeat that over and over again.
I do. And it costs me $9 a minute.
It's a very glib, shallow movie, but it keeps you moving around enough that you could actually have a good time.
Hey, she does complain, though, about he's like, why do you do this? He goes, how else am I supposed to make money? Nobody's willing to pay me $40 an hour, and I have this $100,000 poetry degree. It's like, well, I do not feel sorry for you.
Yeah, what the fuck?
That is a very expensive poetry degree.
Tries so hard to capture the magic of films like Love Actually, but just stumbles. It's not even worth it for the star worship. Go watch My Bloody Valentine instead. That horror movie.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
Works, it is a final positive one I'll read out, works where so many romantic comedies in general fail because it doesn't offer some idealized look at love, but shows the power of it, warts and all, from a variety of perspectives.
No. George Lopez has a perfect relationship in it.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
Is it with Luis Guzman?
No, unfortunately.
Labor Day. What did you think about that, Steve? Let's get real thoughts before I go into them.
So as I was watching this movie, I was like, man, I must be almost done. 20 minutes in.
Title card.
This movie was exhaustively long.
It's 110 minutes.
It sounds so fucking boring.
It sounded terrible.
So boring.
I mean, I already forget most of the things you said explaining.
The problem with this movie is that all of the acting is really good. All of the dialogue and plot points are just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, he's running from the law, and he's, like, outside, like, rotating the tires. I was like, maybe some discretion, you idiot. Like, there's a point where J.K. Simmons shows up and gives him the peaches, because he's like, oh, I had some extra peaches.
That sounds like some type of, like, like you're saying, he came over and like gave him the business kind of thing. He came over and gave him the peaches.
And when you're saying rotate tires, I like to imagine that he just has a car jacked up and he's just spinning the tire.
Yeah, just let it go.
And going, man, when I was in prison, before I escaped jail,
and
I was in the clink.
Kate Winslet has this big long dialogue about because she's talking to her son about, she's giving him the sex talk, and she's like, everybody when they talk about sex, they always come at it from like the mechanical aspects, like the hormones and the things like that, and she's like, but there's this feeling to it and like all this stuff, and I was like, oh my god,
hormones.
Yeah. Like, it's just, like, these weird things that are, like, oh, my God. Like, they're just trying to be so...
It would have been really funny if she explained sex. Like, you know how everybody does the birds and the bees, like, euphemism? If she did it, but, like, as, like, making a pie. and so like she said like so just remember every next time you see somebody make a pie this, and then so he like sees Josh Brolin make a pie with her, and he's just like,
the thing is, I didn't want to say it, but during that central pie making scene, the kid is there. Like, the kid is in the room with them, and there's like a part when they put on the top crust, like the central part, Josh Brolin,
where they both climax.
No, like as they're doing it, Josh Brolin says to her, no, no, he says, help me put a roof on this house. And I was like, what?
Is that a euphemism?
Like, I've never heard put a roof on this house for putting crust on anything before. Like, and then like the kid kind of meets this, there's like this weird
psychiatrist.
There's this weird subplot of the kid meeting this girl. He sees her in the grocery store, and then he
was
sees
like,
her
"Help me put a roof on this house."
No, and he sees her again in the library, and then he goes like talks to her.
She's a real Charlie Puth.
Who?
What?
He sings that "When I See You Again" song.
Oh,
okay.
Wow.
So little Charlie Puth.
But this
reaching
girl,
down in the bag deep today.
This girl's talking about, her broken home as well, and like, oh, you have to break up your mom and this guy. Like, it's just this weird plot. Like, the only terrible actor is this girl, and like her lines are delivered in like super awkward, crazy ways, and she's weird. But like everybody else did a fine job.
Like Zooey Deschanel, weird.
No,
right?
Quirky.
No.
Corky Romano.
No. God no. But like it's mostly the script. Like, he abducts these people, and then like a day later they're in love. Like, what? and then
clearly this guy's never fallen in love.
And then 20
telling me.
And then 25 years later, he's like, "Hey, by the way, I'm getting out. Can I talk to your mom?" And Tobey Maguire was like, "Yeah, I really want, I was always afraid of my mom being alone, but now I don't have to worry about that." I'm like, this is just ridiculous.
No, it's perfect art.
This guy also directed Juno, the guy who wrote and directed this movie.
Good.
I like Juno, but
no, I'm saying that's a pretty like far difference as far as quality, at least. Like,
and the directing's fine too. It's just, but he also wrote it, which that's like straight.
And he was the birthday party kid in the original Ghostbusters movie.
Oh.
That's actually kind of cool.
He also wrote and directed Thank You for Smoking. I don't know if that's.
I mean, I haven't seen it, but I've heard good things.
And Up in the Air.
Oh, filmed in St. Louis.
Yes. So anyway, Labor Day is sitting tightly there at a 34%, 5.2 out of 10 average ratings, 188 reviews, so 65 fresh, 123 rotten. The consensus being Kate Winslet and Josh Brolin make for an undeniably compelling pair, but they can't quite rescue Labor Day from the pallid melodrama of its exceedingly ill-advised plot.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's more or less what I said.
Yeah. I would say so.
And this rotten review is Jason Reitman, who is the writer-director. Jason Reitman forgot the tapioca.
That's okay. So the tapioca is when they do the pie scene. He says you put the tapioca down in the bottom of the crust to like pull the water out to like keep the crust from being shitty.
Yeah.
So like that's just them slamming him for making a shitty movie and like not doing anything to save the plot and or writing.
If you have even the tiniest cynical bone in your body, avoid. You'll find Labor Day more sugary than a cronut. And that's a positive review. Engagingly sappy.
Cronuts aren't really that sugary, though.
I've never had cronut, but I'm assuming since it's like a mix between like a croissant and a donut, right? Like I would feel like that would cut the sugar of the donut with like the savoriness of a croissant.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, good.
So, fuck, I don't know this word. Histrionically.
Hysterectomy.
I think they're trying to make like a word
like
between
ironically.
Yeah,
and
I think they're trying to make something clever, and they've failed.
So histrionically abysmal that it makes you realize how lazy and complacent most other movies are in their banal mediocrity.
Wow, that person was trying way too hard to use big words.
The atrociousness is thrilling. As I left the theater, I felt alive again. That's the full review.
That dude just needs to stop. Like, that guy's trying way too hard.
Too often, Labor Day feels like a sternly resolved, self-consciously determined break from the tradition. A filmmaker deciding, I am making a serious drama and steadfastly refusing to allow even a note of levity into the proceedings.
Oh, yeah. Like,
is there a single joke in the movie?
The screenplay, am I right, boys?
No. Like, no. There's no joke.
Shit. And I'm not saying a movie has to have jokes to be good or something.
Wait,
but that just sounds like such an intense
like
movie.
There's absolutely
that weird
movie about nothing.
No, the weird dark girl. She says some jokes, but it's all kind of.
Wait,
like,
what did you just say?
The dark girl who like is very moody.
Oh, you mean okay? I was like, Steve.
He means emotionally.
Yeah, I was like, Steve. What did you?
Oh God! Wow! Damn it! No! She's like, cause she wears like heavy, like basically she looks like a girl who was like listening to The Cure exclusively at this time.
Gotcha.
Okay, that makes. I was like, well, this is out of left field.
She's like a 12-year-old with like heavy eyeliner. So she's
okay. Yeah.
But she makes some jokes about how her parent but even her humor is kind of dark as well, because she makes jokes about her parents using her as kind of like a pawn to get back at each other and things like that. And then she makes jokes with the kid about because she's like, well, if you move away, who's gonna be my boyfriend and make out with me every day? And then just like walks away, and he's like, wait a minute, what?
The kid being Bruce Willis, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I mean, technically it's Spencer Breslin.
Okay. You're right.
I actually watched that reasonably recently.
Why?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I saw that movie in theaters, though. So if you're so those of you keeping the lists, you can add that one to Steve's.
Is there a red biplane in that movie?
Yes.
Okay, that was well. I almost made the joke saying because I want to know when that fucking biplane comes into the movie. Because
the kid has it and flies it around, and that's how he knows that it's him. Like that's how he knows that it's not some like weird random kid, and how it's actually him as a child.
Oh, okay. Huh.
Looking exactly like him as a child didn't really help the case.
That always bothers me. You know what bothers me more in movie? Not that, but when in a movie they have two characters that are supposed to be identical twins, but they don't look anything alike. But everybody's always like, "Man, how can you tell?" Like in the Disney Channel original movie Motocrossed, where it's like
classic.
I'm familiar.
Yeah, it's because
you don't have to explain it anymore. Not to us, at least. Maybe to listeners.
Okay, so in that movie, it's a girl and her brother, and they're supposed to be twins that look so similar that when he gets hurt, she cuts her hair and takes his place on the motocross circuit, because otherwise he'll lose his spot, and she just wants him to stay in the league. And just no one can tell these people apart, and they look nothing alike.
It's also like another Bruce Willis movie, Looper, where Joseph Gordon-Levitt doesn't really look like Bruce Willis. I mean, they did their best, but
yeah, I would agree with that.
So yeah, these movies
don't see them.
Suck.
I was seriously at 20 minutes in, I was like, how much more of this do I have left? And I just saw a thing say 21. And I was like, what?
That's crazy.
How?
At least with my movie, it was like, okay, this scene is fucking stupid. All right, at least we got a new one here. Okay, let's give this a few seconds for it. Okay, this is really stupid too. Okay, we're at a new one at least again already. Okay, I didn't have to suffer through one too extended.
No, yeah, mine was. They moved the camera around, but it felt like one exhaustive shot.
And the whole movie looks just like orange, like
yeah,
kind of just
like the filter
yellow.
Looks really weird. Well, that's what it looked like in the 80s.
Yeah, shit, I forgot.
Yeah, read a history book for once, dude.
Yeah. There was a really good scene.
Histrionically, right?
I completely forgot about it. I will say there was one really good scene, and that like actually, the script wasn't terrible. There was the scene. It was right before the kid moves back in with his mother. His dad sits him down, like takes him out, and he's like, "Listen, I really want to talk to you about something." Because he says that like even once he moves in with his dad kind of just doesn't say much. Mm-hmm. Like he kind of wants to speak, but doesn't really talk to him a whole lot. But he sits him down and he's like, "Listen, after what happened with your mom that last time, like I really couldn't take it. And this is probably once again like a lot of like the 80s, like under diagnosed depression and things like that. Like she needed some help and wasn't getting it. And he was like, I just wanted a normal, happy life, and she was just wallowing in what we couldn't have anymore. And I wanted to move on." And he's like, "I guess, a stronger, better man could have handled it." He's like, "But I couldn't, and I'm sorry if you feel like if I bailed on you guys." And it was like a really good scene.
And then he's like, "And you should know that sex is very mechanical and all about more bones."
And
that does like the only good scene you've described so far.
No,
other than the pie scene.
It was a good like everything else was just kind of like it was just very heavy-handed of them like trying to make.
So it's No Boy Next Door, is what you're saying.
It was them trying to make a drama.
I love
and that
your
was
peach
like
pie cookies.
And that just felt like a really natural, like an actual organic scene rather than forcing. Because everything else is like she's dancing with the guy that abducted them. This makes sense.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, other than that, I think we can about wrap this puppy up. You guys,
who are we sending a puppy to?
Well, it was going to be a surprise to a listener, but now you are asking for specifics. I don't really want to give it away.
Make sure you take those holes back up.
Well, yeah, you don't
want them getting out.
Yeah, you don't want them to fall out.
God.
So is there anything we want to mention? We want to go on about? Nothing. All right. Well,
we'll announce the way back ticket winners by the time this comes out. So.
And
so congratulations,
somebody.
All right. Yeah, we'll just read off all the people, and I'll insert a clean cut. Okay. So anyway, yeah, Facebook page, go check that out at Movie Versus Podcast. Movie Versus Podcast at Gmail. Email us if you want to have a question. If you want to ask a question, ask us to talk about a certain topic, or even have movie suggestions, always welcome. Twitter as well at Movie Versus Podcast. Thanks to Three Wise and to Jeremy Lamb for the theme, Scott Blackwell for the image. Anything else, boys?
Beyond the Blast Doors.
Oh yeah, Beyond the Blast Doors. Good, Better, Bad. Critical Misadventure. Yeah. All those links will be in the old description there. You can check those out. Other podcasts and video casts and stuff like that of friends of ours. And yeah,
sure.
I think
sounds good to me.
I think that's it. All right, bye.
Movie Versus is a production of Three Wise Media. For more information, check us out on Facebook.